previous unit, we discussed about introduction to ABAP development tools and introduction to HANA Studio. So in this session, we will discuss about core data services, introduction overview of core data services. So we will here we will discuss about database views using core data services in ABAP, expressions, joins, unions in CDS views, and aggregations and grouping in CDS view definitions, and OpenSQL to select database in CDS views. So these things we will be discussing in this unit. So, so code to data paradigm and data to code paradigm. So here the traditional approach was data to code. That means that you have your application layer, you have your database layer. So when you write your select query, generally in ABAP, you write your queries to fetch the data from the database layer. So in ABAP, it fetches the data from DB layer to the application layer. So code is written in the application layer. So that means that so it is a request and response. You are requesting to fetch the data from application layer in the means of in the ABAP report program. So as soon as you write your query, it fetches the data from your DB layer. All the result is fetched here. See here, if you see here, massive data gets copied from DB layer to application layer. So this method of approach was known as data to code paradigm. So this is a classical and a traditional approach which is followed now. So the new approach was code to data paradigm. In this code to data paradigm, if you see the application logic was written in the database layer. That means that code was written in the DB layer. So and the results of that select query were moved to application layer and displayed. So here in this code to data paradigm, only results were transferred from the DB layer to application layer. So in data to code approach was followed in the three-tier architecture. So where you have ABAP as an external application server. So here in code to data paradigm, you use a two-tier architecture. That means that your application logic and calculation logic happens in the database layer. It's a two-tier architecture. It's mainly the HANA takes all the calculations and everything. So its method of approach is called code to data paradigm. When you use data to code paradigm, the performance was affected more. That means that to get the data from DB layer to application layer, massive data copies from DB layer to application layer, which results in more affected performance here. So in a code to data paradigm, only result set was transferred from the DB layer to application layer, but calculations will be performed in the DB layer, which gives more performance. So in code to data in core data services in ABAP uses code to data paradigm. Um, so CDS enablement. So where CDS core data services fit in the traditional architecture. If you see, the underlying database will be HANA. So on HANA, you will be creating core data services. So this core data services will be consuming your ABAP views, or it might be consuming your HANA Access, HANA tables, or HANA Access applications, or it might be consuming Java applications as well. So So when you create a CDS view, that means that you can consume ABAP views, ABAP tables, and ABAP views. You can consume HANA views as HANA tables and HANA Access applications as well. You can consume Java applications as well. So, but underlying database will be HANA. So, and when you create these core data services, these services are core data service views, CDS views. Then front end business suite, BW on HANA, HANA Cloud Platform, high performance applications like S4 HANA, cloud and on-premise. These applications will be using these CDS views. So if you see the backend, the database layer will be HANA, and the application data we will be using ABAP, HANA Access or Java. And then these things will be this presentation. It might be used in BW on HANA Business Suite, uh, S4 HANA ERP, on-premise and cloud, and HANA Cloud and high performance applications will be using these CDS views. So There are two types of core data services here. So when the word comes core data services, there are two types. One is HANA CDS, ABAP CDS. HANA CDS views will be used to create HANA artifacts. So when you create a file when you create a table in HANA Studio, you will be having .hdb table, HDB schema extensions. Like there is an extension called HDB HDB data dictionary. This type of extension is called core data HANA CDS views. So in that HANA CDS views extension, HANA artifacts like tables, table types, views, stored procedures, and all other HANA artifacts can be created from HANA DB extension, HANA DD extension. So that is CDS. Those are called HANA CDS. But in this ABAP programming for SAP HANA course, we will be dealing only with ABAP CDS views. That means that you will be creating only ABAP CDS. You will consume ABAP tables, and database layer will be HANA. Will and the mostly it deals with ABAP CDS in the total course here. So what is CDS first of all? Core data services are domain-specific languages and services for defining and consuming semantic-rich data models in SAP HANA. That means that to consume rich models in rich semantic data models in HANA, we use core data services as a domain-specific language. That means that in HANA database, we, it, it, we have SQL engine, calculation engine, SQL script, which is nothing but stored procedures. So CDS use DDL language, query language, and expression language. So to create your views, these are nothing but enhanced view capabilities. So you can have OpenSQL using CDS. That means that when you use HANA CDS views, you use native SQL. That is nothing but specifically to HANA. But when you use uh, ABAP CDS, you will be using OpenSQL to create views. There we will be in HANA CDS, you will be using native SQL to create the HDB DD extension for HANA artifacts. But here you will be using OpenSQL code. Using OpenSQL, you are consuming HANA tables, ABAP tables, and creating a view. These views will be having more functionalities. That means that we can create DDL, data definition language, query language, and expression language can mean say multiple expressions are supported in your view. You can query based on specific filters in your view. You can have data definitions like language such as create, update. You can generate OData services as well using CDS views. SAP HANA supports SQL as means to define, read, and manipulate data. On top of SQL, many technologies introduced like high-level models to add semantics and easy conjunction. Example, OData EDM modules, semantic layer in the BA platform, enterprise objects in Java, or business object frameworks in ABAP. These are some of the semantic conjunctions introduced. So here, and CDS views are domain-specific languages for defining and consuming semantic rich data models. CDS are to be supported by several SAP platforms here. They are integral part of HANA, but they can be leveraged in the ABAP stack. So core data services in ABAP. I already told you in this course we will be dealing only with ABAP CDS. So if you see here in ABAP CDS language, this supports code pushed down to database layer. That means that your calculation logic performs in the database layer HANA, and simply consumption of result data models by means of view entities. You will be creating an entity. So when you create a view and CDS view, and when you activate it, it creates a entity. You see that entity is called CDS view entity. We will define these CDS views in define this model and DDL source object. In normal SC11 data dictionary, you cannot create these CDS views. To create these CDS views, you have to use ABAP development tools in ABAP perspective in HANA Studio, or in an ADT. You can create in ABAP perspective. You can there is it's a new data dictionary called DDL source. So in this DDL source only, you will be able to create the CDS views, which I will be showing you in the next sessions. I will show practically how to create a CDS view, and advanced concepts like how to do joins I will be showing in the next slides. So mainly this CDS views intention was to move the data intensive logic into database layer. That means that code push down supports functionality. This uh, this CDS views totally deal with OpenSQL and view entities. It is integrated in ABAP. It's not it's leveraged in ABAP, but it is present in the HANA database, but it is leveraged in the ABAP layer, ABAP stack only. If you can see, DDL source is present in ABAP language. It's an OpenSQL. DIDIC, it's a DIDIC. This is CDS ABAP. It's present in HANA database. So HANA database supports SQL engine, calculation engine, SQL script. So your HANA attribute views, analytical views, calculation views can be consumed in ABAP as well. So through CDS views, all SQL script stored procedures also can be consumed here. So core data services in previous slide we already seen they supports data definition language, query language, and expression language as well. So bottom-up approach. This this approach is exposing your database view to external view. So that means that to expose any artifact in HANA, whether it is attribute view, analytical view, calculation view, you can expose them using external view. Those are nothing but SAP HANA proxies. In Unit 11 of this course, you will be able to see how to expose analytical views, calculation views in ABAP using external views. So for this, in bottom-up approach, that means that you are exposing your HANA views in ABAP layer. Here, ABAP and HANA servers involved for developing and managing both HANA in calling the HANA views in ABAP. So here, HANA view deployed in HANA Studio. External views gets created in ABAP development. So when you consume your HANA view in ABAP, so external view will be created in ABAP and HANA view will be deployed in HANA Studio. And to transport anything from ABAP layer to HANA layer, you should use HANA transport container and HANA delivery unit. You should be there to transport from one system to other system. That means that when I showed you in introduction to HANA Studio, you will create a package and you will create a delivery unit. So when you after when you will assign your package to delivery unit, and delivery unit is used for means of transport, used as a means of transport container for moving from one system to other system. So I already shown you in introduction to HANA Studio how to create a delivery unit, how you assign a package to delivery unit and transport from one system to other system. So, so delivery unit is a means of a storage. It's a container which we can move from HANA Studio to other ABAP external or other systems. In top-down approach. In bottom-up approach, what we do was we'll consume our HANA views in ABAP. There, both HANA acts as a HANA and ABAP, both servers acts as a master. Both HANA and ABAP servers are active there. So your HANA will view will be deployed in HANA Studio, and you consume your HANA view in ABAP. But in top-down approach, you create your view in ABAP layer. So that means that CDS view comes in top-down approach. That means that you create your ABAP server acts as a master for developing and managing HANA views. So you create your CDS view in ABAP. You will use your analytical view, calculation view, or any HANA table in ABAP, and you will write in ABAP layer. CDS view entity is defined in ABAP DDL source. HANA view gets deployed during the CDS view activation. So that means that as soon as when you define a CDS view by consuming HANA table or ABAP layer and activate it, two things gets happen. One thing was your HANA view will be deployed in HANA database CDS entity, and your SQL view can be accessed using ABAP as well. These things I will show you in next coming slides. What happens when you activate a CDS view. So transport required only for CDS views. There is no transport required because anyway you are creating your view in ABAP layer itself. Just a transport request required only for CDS view to be transported to other other servers. Only ABAP development tools are required here. So there is no need of HANA Studio and ABAP ADT. Here only ABAP development tools are required in top-down approach. What is CDS architecture? So CDS architecture was you will create a CDS view in ABAP in Eclipse or ADT or even in the ABAP perspective in HANA Studio. You will create a CDS view. So there is a CDS editor. So when you define your CDS view, it will go to it is a dedic dictionary. So as soon as when you activate it, it will form a CDS view entity. On activation, it forms in one CDS entity will be deployed into DB layer, and SQL view will be deployed in ABAP layer. So two things happens one at a time when you activate a CDS view. So I will show that in in ABAP perspective how to create a CDS view, a sample CDS view. So first. Uh, you can use ABAP development tools or HANA Studio as well. So, but you have to be in ABAP perspective. Make sure that you are in ABAP perspective to create a DDL source. So, I already connected my ECC system to Eclipse. So, in my favorite package or in any of the package, I will select this package and I will right click new. If you go to other ABAP repository, so you will be having dictionary. So expand the dictionary node. So you'll be having a data definition. So DDL source or data in SAP NetViewer 7.4 and below, you will see this one as a DDL source. If it is SAP NetViewer 7.4 and above, you will be seeing this to create a CDS. You will have a name as data definition. So I'm selecting that and clicking on next. So here so if you can see, this is the project which I created. This is the package name. So name of this CDS view, I'm just giving Z CDS underscore exam. First I'm creating SAMP. So this is a basic sample name I give. So first CDS view, first CDS view I'm going to create. I'm clicking on next. So when I click on next, it is asking me a transport for me. So I can use the transport, I cannot use my transport. So generally I have a transport. So I'm borrowing for SMA HANA TR. I'm using this transport only. So as soon as when you click on next, it will ask for view, which type of view to be created. So I already told you CDS view have different types of functionalities. Like you can create a simple view, you can create a view with joins, you can create a view with associations. These are nothing but advanced CDS concepts. You can create CDS view with parameters. That means that view we can have input parameters as well. You can extend a CDS view as well. So you can have a table function with parameters as well for CDS view. So these are nothing but when you select what type of CDS view you wanted to create, the sample template or sample code will be the editor will give a sample code automatically. As of now, I am selecting a sample define view. This is a simple CDS view and clicking on finish. So as soon as when I click on finish, so it creates a simple code syntax for me for CDS view, simple CDS view. So if you see, some annotations got automatically for me, and some syntax to create to select data in from the table. I got some syntax. So if you see here, the first of four lines here which I got was annotations here. This ABAP catalog.sql view name is nothing but the view which is going to be accessed using ABAP. As a ECC system, I'm able to access this view when I activate the CDS view. So, so this is my CDS view name which I created. The syntax for creating a CDS view would be define view, your view name, and then your view name as is alias for your view, and you should use your simple query select from. So data source name, as of now I'm selecting as flight. So as flight is my uh, database table which I am using it. So and then I have to select some fields. So as of now I'm selecting all the fields. To select all the fields, what I should do was control space. It gives a code completion for me. So if you see in code completion, I can select some of the fields like career ID and controls on ID. I'm using again control space and give comma. Every time when you give fields and then currency, comma, control space, it will give me flight date. So this some of the fields which I selected, and I'm giving a key to this field. Career ID as a key. I'm giving this name as a key. So here I selected from S-Flight is a database table which I have in ABAP. So this I'm consumed that S-Flight and selected only 4 fields. I named career ID as a key. So the fields in S-Flight, the key fields in S-Flight and the key fields in the CDS view need not be same. So here in S-Flight, if I have, suppose I can navigate, I clicked, selected S-Flight and clicked on F3. So it will navigate me to the S-Flight transparent table. So if you see in S-Flight transparent table, the keys in S-Flight transparent table are career ID, con ID, flight date, and price. But here in CDS view, I'm giving only one key. The key in the S-Flight and key in the CDS view are different. It can be different. There is no problem that you should give the same keys of your database table. You can name only one key or 2 keys. So here this is my CDS view entity name. So here this is my SQL CDS SQL view name. So DDL, we can call it as a DDL source name as well, or data definition view. So here I am naming here also one name, that CDS Sam underscore I'm removing here. So Sam. So this is my CDS SQL CDS view. This is my CDS view entity. We call it as a CDS view entity, which you define using data definition. So I'm activating. So when I activate this CDS view, so if you see CDS view is getting activated and it's already activated. So now I will so CDS view is activated. I'm displaying the data in this CDS view. So how to display the data was, I'm going to, if you see, I got ABAP DDL sources. So I'm just right clicking in it and you can see data preview, or else you can execute the CDS view like there is a execute button. So run as ABAP application, click on OK. So then the data will be displayed here. So how you can access the CDS view from data from ABAP player? So I already told you ABAP catalog.sql view name is the SQL CDS view which is created in your S-Flight. So I can go to my ECC system again. So I'll log in here. Here I copied this ZCDS SAM. So I'm just logging into with credentials, username and password. And I will go to S11. In the in view, I select the view. I will copy which I have copied in the annotation above catalog SQL view. I copied that and I copied this entity here. This entity I copied and I'm displaying it. If you display it, if you see this is a DDL source SQL view. So if you see here, this is CDS view entity. This is nothing but CDS. Comments can be given with two forward slashes. So CDS view entity. This is nothing but SQL CDS DDL source, which can be accessed using ABAP. Control F3. I'm using shortcut to activate the CDS view again. So here if you see, I access the DDL source view. So if you see this, there's a warning here, generated DDLs are only supported in limited by SC11. That means that you can create only this DDL source view from ABAP development tools or in ABAP perspective of HANA Studio. So I'm just executing from here as well. So these are the fields. So now for the same CDS view, suppose if I add one more field as flight, suppose if I wanted to add one more field like here by default all the fields your CDS view is client dependent. Explicitly you can mention whether it is client independent or dependent. So I added one more field to this CDS view and I'm just activating it again. So I'm activating it. It's already activated without any errors. So I will go here again here. So I will display it again. If you see, the one more field was added again. fields. So this is how CDS view, you can create a CDS, simple CDS view. Here, coming to annotations, there are many annotations in CDS view. About annotations, I will be discussing this about annotations in the advanced concepts of CDS view. But basically, as soon as when you create a CDS view, you will get four annotations. This is a SQL view name. I already did SQL. The view SQL DDL source name can be represented using ABAP catalog.sql view name. And about these annotations, I will discuss with you. I will discuss these things in the next sessions. Enable username text.label. If you see, this is the first CDS view. While creating a CDS view, we gave it some text. So these view annotations will be used by the front end in UI5 on Fiori. When they consume this CDS view, they will use these annotations, text and everything. I will discuss these things in the annotations topic. So coming back to slides again, ABAP CDS architecture. So what I have done, I created a CDS view in ABAP in Eclipse, in ABAP perspective of HANA Studio, and in CDS editor, that is nothing but data definition or DDL source, data dictionary folder. I created a source, I have written a code. So as soon as my DDL processor will process the CDS source to CDS view entity, DDIC, this is nothing but a DDIC source in ABAP. As soon as when I activate my CDS entity, so it will create as a view as a CDS view entity in HANA, or it can be accessed in HANA as well. It can be accessed in ABAP as well. This is how ABAP CDS architecture works. ABAP CDS views. So CDS view is defined for can be defined for existing database table like SFlight, standard tables like SFlight, SBook, or any EPM application which I have shown you in Unit 2, SNWDSO, EPM, Enterprise Procurement Management tables, standard tables, any tables, existing tables, you can create a CDS view, or any other CDS views also can be used. Like if you create a CDS view 1 and in another CDS view 2, you can consume CDS view 1 data. Those and our other CDS views in ABAP dictionary also can be used using statement define view. Define view is the syntax while defining your CDS view entity. I already shown you before, define view and CDS view name in DDL source in ABAP core data services. On activation of CDS view, two objects are created. One is a CDS database view, other one was a CDS entity. So CDS database view can be accessed from the ABAP layer. So which I have shown you in ABAP catalog.sql view name. The view name can be accessed from ABAP. A CDS view entity is nothing but the entity which you define after the syntax define view. So representation of DDL source are generated, updated and deleted automatically on activation. I already shown you. I have added one more field to CDS view entity at later point of time on activation. So as soon as how many fields you enter into the CDS view, automatically this will add automatically into your SQL view as well. So core data services, SQL features. So what are the SQL features in core data services? So there are general and enhanced features in CDS views. So So general features are, if you see what are the difference between the ABAP database views which you have in SC11 and ABAP CDS views. ABAP in SC11, the database view which you have will not be supported, no outer joins, no complex joins like right outer join, left outer join is not supported, only inner join type of things will be supported, no unions as well, no view and view concept, no nested views. That means that one view cannot be used in another view. These things have limited functionality in S11 ABAP database views. But coming to ABAP CDS views, which I have shown you, it supports many other functionalities it has, like view and view, means nested views can be supported, case expressions are supported, and complex joins are supported, like left outer join, right outer join, all the joins are supported. Union all also supported, are arithmetic string and cast expressions. That means that while you define your view, you can write your arithmetic expressions, string expressions, and cast expressions. That means that you can write your calculation logic in while defining a view itself. You can write your calculations logic. You can have aggregations, grouping, filtering groups, and then associations between view entities. The three last four parts which I am discussing about will be covered in the advanced concept of CDS views, like associations between entities, how do you have CDS view entity 1, CDS view entity 2, how you form a association between these two, like one to there might be a relation between one CDS view to other CDS view, then how you form a relations. So relations will be formed using associations and annotations. I told you that there are many annotations like coded annotations, analytical annotations, UI annotations while defining a CDS view. These things as well I will be covering here. And these are the enhanced features in ABAP CDS views. View can be extended as well. When you have a view and if you wanted to extend with 3 or 4 columns, then we can do the view extensions as well. View with input parameters also supported here. That means that view can have input parameters as well. So when you input any data, you can input you can input values and get the result as well with CDS views. So these are the enhanced features in CDS views. Your normal SC11 will be having a general features, but you cannot write application logic or calculation logic in your SC11 database view, but in ABAP CDS view you can write your calculation logic, and more features were supported in ABAP CDS views. So simple CDS view. So here in simple CDS view, what is the syntax for simple CDS view? ABAP CDS entity. If you see here, this is the syntax for select star, select all columns. If you wanted to select all the columns from any of the uh, table, then what is the syntax? So here you will define your syntax like this. You will create define view, and you will create your view name as view name. This is nothing but CDS view entity, and you will select as select star from SNWDSO. This is nothing but your, I already showed you in unit 2. SNWDSO is nothing but enterprise procurement model table. So I'm selecting all the values from this table using select star. So comma separated column list in OpenSQL here, this is nothing but new features in OpenSQL. So in this new features in OpenSQL, when you select some columns, all the columns should be column listed and column listed with comma separated values. So if you see in SNWD01, if you are selecting everything, then you will use select star. If you are selecting only specific columns, then you will use comma separated values. So alias name is given with the keyword as. So you can use alias name as well. So for each field in a table, you can give alias name as well, and select list from enclosed in the curly braces. In curly braces, you will enclose all the select list. So this is a simple CDS views. Uh, we'll go to the system, and we'll see how we'll create these CDS views in exercises. So I have already exercises here. So exercise 1, 2, 3. So first I will go to exercise. I have pre-printed template here to create all these CDS views. So now what I will do is I will create one CDS view, that is nothing but CDS view with column select star I will be doing. So if you see, this is my CDS view with select star. So how I will be selecting was, I will select this. So I will select all this. I will copy this all template. So I will create a DDL source name, that's CDS select all columns. Suppose select underscore all columns I'm selecting here, suppose. So I will be using select all select all. Okay, I'm clicking on next. Meaningful discussion I give. As of now, I'm using the same TR. If you're storing in a local object, then TR it will not populate you to ask for a TR. So you can store in a local objects as well. So I'm clicking on next. As of now, I'm giving a define a sample view only, and finish. So clicked on finish. So it is reading repository objects. So if you see, it is taking time to create. So you can use all these exercises here. So CDS view with select star, CDS view with aliases. So all the exercises I have defined here. So you can try out these exercises and test how this works. So I'm just ready-madely pasting all the columns which I have selected from here. So I have to change my CDS view name according to the CDS view which I have defined. I named it as select underscore all. So if you see this is my CDS view. I'm just control F3. I'm just activating my CDS view. If you see SNWDSO, I can navigate first and show you F3. This is enterprise procurement model sales order table. So I'm just so I select what I have done was, this is my CDS view name. This is I'm giving select star syntax, select star from table. And this is CDS view entity. This is nothing but my SQL view name. So I can click on F8 as well to display the data. So all the data was displayed for me. In the same way, if I wanted to select only specific columns, suppose. So if we wanted to select a specific columns, so that I can select a specific columns as well. So those columns how I can do was, so in the same, there is other exercise to do that as well. So if I wanted to select with alias, suppose, or select with column list. So I can only columns. If I want only some columns, I already showed in a previous exercise was, if you want only columns, you can give one column and do it. So this is nothing but CDS view with column list. Column list. So CDS view with aliases. So I will use CDS view with aliases. Control C. I'll create one more CDS view here. Alias. Next, finish. So I'll just copy the template which I have already. So if you see this, I have to rename this to activate. Alias. So here what I have done was, I use a column list and there is alias name for my first field. So if you wanted to have a key as well, the key is not mandatory. If you wanted to key, you can have key. If you don't want to key, then you can don't use key as well. So I'm just activating it. So if you see for first SO underscore ID, ID will be my control F3. So I'm clicking on F8. The first field should be, first field value will be ID, not, it won't be SO underscore ID, it will be as ID. F8 I'm doing it. So for each column as well, you can have alias name for each column as well. So this is the syntax for this is for syntax for select star from database table. This is the syntax for alias and column list. So case expressions also supported in CDS view. So all that's enhanced in the I already showed you in the previous slide what are the enhanced features which are supported in ABAP CDS views. So I'm discussing one by one here. So now case expressions also supported in CDS views. So what are the case expressions supported? So you can have case expressions, cases, nested cases also supported here. So if you see this alias name required except for the nested case. So if you see in the case, so you can have, when I'm here I'm when I'm creating this define view, and select star from SNWDSO, this is my table. I'm selected my third field called billing status. So case billing status is the third field. So I'm checking when the billing status is P, then I need paid. When it is blank, then what I have to do was I have to select delivery status. So billing status is one field and delivery status is the other field. So I'm checking the delivery status when billing status was blank, then I am checking delivery status. When it is D and I'm checking delivery, when it's blank, then I'm clicking on I'm selecting open and it ends. Finally, I'm doing the, if this also fails, then I have to get only billing status value, and finally I'm doing it as a life cycle status. So this life cycle status entire thing was coming from the nested case. So this entire view has three columns. One is ID coming from SO underscore ID, created it, and billings. This entire life cycle status I'm getting from billing status. So resulted column is derived from the expressions after then and else clause. So after then and else clause only, the resulted column will be, you get resulted column. Nested case expressions are supported. So case and nested case expressions are supported. So we'll go into the system and we will execute this. So then we will get to know how this case expressions works in CDS views. So I'm just creating a new data definition, ZCDS underscore case. So I'm just giving case as description and clicking on next. Next finish I'm giving. So on OK. So I'll just copy from the case expressions in CDS view from my exercise. I'll just copy this and Control A. I'll just paste everything. I have to change my view name to execute this. That CDS underscore case. So here, if you see, I defined my view. So key value was SYD, created it was the second field. If you see the case expression here, third case expression, this entire thing was case expression. So this case expression life cycle status is coming from billing status. I explained you when P then paid, it will check. So if I suppose first I will activate this CDS view, Control F3. I'm just activating it. So I will go to SNWD SO table, clicking on F3. It will go to shortcuts. Shortcuts were the easier way to navigate from easily instead of clicking everything. So if you see here, in this SNWD SO, SO underscore ID is a field which I named that ID and created it I named. So I can maximize it as well. So when I maximize it, it is taking time to maximize. Maybe system was slow, that's why it is taking time to maximize. So case, let it be. Okay, it's taking time to maximize, or else I will open from here as well. SMWDSO. So I will open the view for you from here. Maybe uh, maybe it's okay. The connection was lost. Maybe connection was lost. That's why it is not able to open. So I will try to connect it again. SMWDSO. I will try to connect it again so that I can open again. F3. Okay. So if you see this NWDSO, billing status will be definitely a field here. So billing status and delivery status is the field here. So billing status and delivery status is the field. If you see the values of this billing status and delivery status before executing the CDS view. So I'll open any of the field. So if you see billing status here, I can do it from the only some fields are selected here. That's why I'm not able to see. But so sales order confirmation status with billing status, delivery status is one also a field. So here what I'm doing was I'm I'm life cycle status field. This is the third field of my CDS view. Third, this is coming from billing status. I'm checking delivery status. When it is P, then paid. When it is blank, then I'm doing a case nested case with delivery status. And when I'm checking again D delivery delivered, when it is again blank open, then my case ends. If nothing comes, then it comes to else billing status and life cycle status. So this is how nested case works. So I'm executing this wait. You see, only three fields exist. So I got result as open. So result as open in the sense result as open means everything was blank here. That's why I got open. That means that billing status was blank, and then delivery status is also blank. That's why I'm getting all the fields as open. Okay, so here then there is no data maintained for billing status and delivery status. So this is how the nested case works in CDS views. Just go to ABAP CDS Literals, next concept. So string expressions, arithmetic expressions, and plus all the arithmetic expressions like plus, minus, into, unary, and all and built-in functions like ceil, mod, cast expressions are supported in CDS views. All the literal expressions also supported. That means that we can have entire field here as a amount values as well. So quickly we'll go to system and execute this and show how it works. So I will just execute this. I'll go to this and I will create a. You have to remember one thing that your CDS views cannot be debugged here because this is a database view. So in anywhere view cannot be debugged when you're creating. So that's why. So I'm just creating a CDS view. Okay, expressions, string expressions or any expressions. So clicking on next, and finish. I open directly arithmetic expression code. I will just copy this, clicking on OK and clicking on finish. So it is taking time to save. So if you see here in cast expressions, so I have field ID and currency code. And third field, if you see, I used a string expression. That means that I used a literal here. My entire description field will come as amount values. And I used arithmetic expression for tax amount. For tax amount is coming from the gross amount minus net amount. These two are the fields of again database, again the fields for RS and WDSO. And I used savings. I have used it from gross amount. I have done some calculation here to get the savings. So I'm using control here. So what I will do is I will delete this and I use set CDS underscore ARTH. This is my CDS. I can use syntax as well. Syntax control F2. I can use pretty printer as well. Pretty printer is shift F1. So shift F1 is not work. I think it's not working for this version. So this is, I will just maximize this and I will just activate it. So CDS view was activated. Here if you see the first column was ID, second column was currency code. My third column here was amount values. This is a string expression which I used, and arithmetic expression I used for tax amount, and cast was used for reduced amount, and for savings and reduced amount I'm doing some calculation. I'm converting this gross amount to float, and again plus again minus gross amount to float into 0.003, and I'm doing some calculation to get the savings here. So cast expressions means you can convert your data from one data type to other data type. And finally, you can do your cast expressions also in CDS views. When I click on F8 here, so if you see it was not activated. So I'm just canceling it. I'm control F3. I'm doing again. So it is activating again so that I can execute again. So I'm clicking on F8. You see ID currency code. So I already told you string expression I used for the description field. So everything was amount, tax amount, reduced amount, and savings. So tax amount I got from a calculation minus calculation, and I have and reduced amount and savings I have used some cast expressions here. So if you see this gross amount and net amount will be the fields of SNWDSO. So if I go to SNWDSO, the gross amount, net amount, tax amount, everything are the fields of a database. So that means that the fields of a database table as well, I can do a calculations logic in my CDS view. So it is beauty of CDS view. So its calculations can be performed in when you're defining your view itself. So it has high capabilities, high calculations. So you open SQL and with some SQL logic, you are able to do many calculation logic while defining your CDS view. So it's very interesting and it's very powerful as well. Your CDS view is more powerful as well. So I'll continue with the next slides. So joins in CDS view. So I already told you, you can have joins in your CDS views. So that means that you can have, like when you define your view, you can have joins, you can have associations, you can have all other functionalities, enhanced functionalities also exist in CDS view. So these joins and these other functionalities like associations, joins, and other enhanced CDS views, other features of CDS views I will be explaining in the next session. So I hope today we discussed about introduction to CDS views, what is the architecture, what is the difference between HANA CDS views and ABAP CDS Views, its architecture, how you define it in ADT in ABAP perspective. So I think this session was very interesting, and the coming sections will be even more interesting. So stay tuned. Thank you.